Did you know it only takes 7 seconds for someone to decide whether they like you? That's less time than it takes to tie your shoes or reply to a text message. In those precious moments we send signals through our body language, tone of voice, and even the look in our eyes that shape how others perceive us. The funny thing about this is that you don't need to be the funniest, smartest, or best dressed person in the room to make a great first impression. What matters is connection, and that's something we can all master, starting with 3 simple habits. Believe it or not, we all want to be liked, whether it's at work, with friends, or even strangers in passing. There's an undeniable pull toward being seen and accepted. Think about the last time someone made you feel valued. Maybe they remembered your name, really listened, or showed genuine interest in your story. The moment likely stuck with you because it tapped into something universal, the human need for connection. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "We are made for each other." Relationships, whether fleeting or deep, are at the heart of everything we do. But here's the paradox: the harder we try to be liked, the less authentic we seem. The secret isn't in impressing others, it's in making them feel important. By mastering a few subtle skills, you can transform how people respond to you. You don't have to change who you are to be likable, you just have to understand what makes people feel seen, heard, and valued. In this video we'll be focusing on the easiest tricks to make anyone like you instantly. Before we begin, please subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss out on more amazing videos like this. Let's get started. The problem: why being liked? Why it's hard to be liked feels so hard. Have you ever left a conversation replaying everything you said, wondering if you came across as awkward? Maybe you were trying to make a good impression, choosing your words carefully, smiling at the right moment, yet the connection still felt off. That sinking feeling of "I should have done better" is more common than you would think. In fact, it's one of the most shared human experiences. The truth is, social interactions often come with a quiet but persistent fear of rejection. It's that little voice in your head whispering, "What if they don't like me? What if I say the wrong thing?" This fear can lead to overthinking, analyzing every word, gesture, or pause instead of being present in the moment. Insecurity creeps in, and before you know it, you're more focused on your own performance than the person in front of you. Now add modern distractions to the mix. Social media has trained us to connect through screens, liking, commenting, and sharing, but face-to-face conversations, they demand a level of presence and vulnerability that can feel overwhelming. Eye contact feels harder to sustain, silences feel more awkward, and the urge to check your phone can pull you away from the moment. These habits, while small, chip away at our ability to build trust quickly in real-life interactions. Let's take that you're meeting someone new at a gathering. You try to strike up a conversation, but halfway through they glance at their phone or give you a distracted nod. Suddenly you feel unimportant, even though their intention might not have been to dismiss you. Moments like these happen every day, and they create invisible barriers between us. But there's hope. Being likable isn't about being flawless or effortlessly charming. It's about understanding the small human ways we can bridge those gaps, ways that anyone can learn. And the good news is that you don't have to guess. There are proven techniques to help you break through the noise, connect deeply, and make a lasting impression. So let's stop overthinking and start learning. The trick to being instantly liked isn't a mystery, it's a skill, and like any skill, it can be mastered with practice. The power of genuine, a surprising key to connection. Attention. Let's take that you're walking into a room full of people, each engaged in their own conversations. Now imagine one person turns toward you, locks eyes, not in a staring contest way, but with warmth and presence, and genuinely listens to what you have to say. You'd feel important, wouldn't you? Respected, valued. That's the transformative power of genuine attention. It's a gift we all crave but rarely give or receive. Have you ever had a conversation where it felt like the other person wasn't really there? Maybe they kept glancing at their phone, cutting you off mid-sentence, or nodding absent-mindedly while their mind wandered elsewhere. Moments like these remind us just how rare genuine attention has become, yet the ability to make someone feel truly seen and heard is one of the fastest ways to build a connection. In fact, your undivided attention is one of the most valuable gifts you can offer. It's the foundation of likability at its core. Genuine attention isn't complicated, but it does require intention. People don't just want to be heard, they want to feel understood. When you focus entirely on the person in front of you, you're giving them something they might not even realize they're craving. Think of it this way: attention is like sunlight. Just as plants thrive when exposed to light, people flourish when they feel noticed and valued. The good news: you can master this skill with a few small but powerful habits. Start with eye contact. Consistent, natural eye contact creates an unspoken message: I'm here and I'm listening. Look directly at the person you're speaking to, but don't overdo it. Staring too intensely can feel intimidating, so think of it as a gentle rhythm. Let your gaze shift occasionally, but always return to theirs to show you're present. This simple act helps build trust faster than any words can. Next, practice listening without interrupting. Too often we're so eager to share our thoughts that we jump in before the other person has finished theirs, or worse, we're already crafting our response while they're still talking. But real listening means setting aside your own thoughts and giving others your full attention. Let them finish. Even in moments of silence, resist the urge to fill the gap. Sometimes those pauses give people the space to share something deeper. Another key habit is reflecting their words back to them. When someone shares something important, repeat a part of what they said or summarize it in your own words. For example, you might say, "It sounds like you're saying," or "What I'm hearing is this." Not only shows that you're listening but also helps clarify the conversation. It tells the other person, "I hear you and I value what you're saying." Let me share a quick story. A friend of mine once felt incredibly out of place at a networking event. She stood quietly by the corner, unsure how to start a conversation. Eventually someone approached her and asked, "How are you finding the event so far?" It wasn't the question itself that mattered, it was the way the person listened. They maintained eye contact, nodded thoughtfully, and reflected her words without interrupting. That 5-minute exchange left her feeling understood and comfortable, all because someone took the time to really listen. This is the kind of impact you can have on others when you give them your full attention. It's not about having the perfect responses or dazzling them with charm. It's about making them feel important. Even the Stoics recognize the power of listening. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is impossible to learn that which one thinks one already knows." In silence we open ourselves to understanding others on a deeper level. By speaking less and listening more, we not only connect with others but also learn about their unique perspectives, struggles, and strengths. I once applied this approach during a tense work situation. A colleague came to me frustrated and overwhelmed about a project. Instead of jumping in with advice, I simply listened. I nodded occasionally, maintained eye contact, and reflected their feelings. "It sounds like you're feeling stuck." That simple acknowledgement eased their tension. By the end of the conversation they thanked me, not because I solved their problem but because I made them feel heard. When you give someone your undivided attention, you're doing more than just listening. You're creating a safe space for them to express themselves fully. This kind of connection is rare, and because of that it's unforgettable. People won't always remember the details of what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel, and in those moments of genuine attention, likability becomes effortless. Mirroring without losing how to connect without pretending yourself. Have you ever met someone and felt an instant connection, as if you'd known them for years? Chances are you weren't just lucky, it's likely that subtle mirroring was at play. Mirroring, when done naturally, creates a subconscious sense of similarity between two people. And here's the truth: when people feel like you're similar to them, they're more likely to trust and like you. But let's get one thing straight: mirroring isn't about mimicry. It's not about copying someone's every move or parting their words. That would feel awkward and insincere, wouldn't it? Instead, mirroring is a delicate balance. It's about harmonizing with the other person's energy, like two voices blending in a song. It's subtle enough to go unnoticed, yet powerful enough to create genuine rapport. The psychology behind it is simple. Humans are naturally drawn to people who seem like them. It's an evolutionary response. Similarity signals safety and familiarity. When you subtly match someone's body language, tone, or pace of speech, their brain registers, "This person gets me." This creates an unspoken connection even before a single meaningful word is exchanged. Let's break it down into simple steps. First, match their energy level and pace of speech. If someone speaks slowly and thoughtfully, thoughtfully resist the urge to rush your words. Instead, slow down and match their rhythm. On the flip side, if someone is animated and enthusiastic, let your tone reflect their energy. This alignment creates a natural flow, making the interaction feel seamless. Next, mirror their positive body language. Pay attention to how they position themselves. Are they leaning slightly forward, using open hand gestures, or nodding as they speak? By subtly mirroring these movements, you send a non-verbal message that says, "I'm with you." But remember, subtlety is key. Avoid exaggerated gestures or mimicking every move, as this can come across as forced or even mockingly insincere. Finally, adopt their communication style. Some people speak formally, choosing their words with precision, while others are casual and conversational. When you adjust your style to match theirs, you create a sense of alignment that puts them at ease. For example, if someone uses straightforward non-nonsense language, avoid overly flowery phrases. On the other hand, if they speak with warmth and enthusiasm, let your tone reflect that openness. Think of mirroring as a dance. You're not trying to copy their steps exactly, you're simply moving in sync with their rhythm. This is what makes it feel natural, like harmonizing in music. Mirroring is about blending seamlessly without losing your individuality. Here's an example of how it works. A colleague once shared a story about a job interview that felt like an uphill battle. The interviewer was reserved, spoke softly, and maintained a formal tone. Initially, my colleague, who is naturally outgoing and energetic, struggled to find common ground, but instead of overwhelming the interviewer with her usual enthusiasm, she adjusted her energy, softened her tone, and matched their formal communication style. By the end of the interview, they were exchanging ideas with ease. The shift wasn't drastic, it was subtle and intentional, and it left a lasting impression. The power of mirroring isn't just limited to professional settings, it can transform everyday interactions as well. Picture this: you're meeting someone new at a social event. They lean slightly forward as they speak, so you mirror that subtle movement. They gesture with open hands, and you occasionally do the same. They're casual and conversational, so you keep your tone light and approachable. Without realizing it, they feel more connected to you, as if you're already on the same wavelength. Even Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, emphasized the importance of understanding others as a way to build trust. While he didn't write directly about mirroring, his teachings align with its principles. By observing and adapting to others, you foster harmony and connection, a foundation for mutual respect. Now let's address the fear of losing yourself in the process. Some people worry that mirroring means abandoning their authenticity, but here's the thing: you're not changing who you are, you're meeting the other person where they are. It's about finding a balance between being yourself and being adaptable. When done right, mirroring feels natural, like a shared language that helps you both feel at ease. I once used this approach during a challenging interaction with a frustrated client. They were visibly tense, spoke quickly, and used short, clipped sentences instead of maintaining my usual calm, measured tone. I subtly picked up my pace and mirrored their directness. Gradually, I noticed their tension ease. They began to open up, and we ended the meeting on a positive note. What could have been a difficult conversation turned into a productive one, all because I adjusted to their communication style. Mirroring isn't about manipulation, it's about connection. It shows the other person that you're paying attention not just to their words but to their energy, emotions, and unspoken cues. And when people feel understood on that level, they naturally feel drawn to you. This is the art of mirroring, blending into their rhythm without losing your own voice, creating harmony without stealing the melody. Be authentically the secret to effortless connections. Interested authenticity is one of the most magnetic traits you can possess. When you show genuine curiosity about someone else, it doesn't just make them feel valued, it creates a connection rooted in trust or in mutual respect. People are drawn to those who care, not because they have to but because they truly want to. And the beauty of this approach, it takes the focus off you and shifts it onto them, which naturally builds likability. Think about the last time someone seemed genuinely interested in your story. Maybe they asked a question that went beyond small talk, or they lit up when you shared something you cared about. Those moments stand out because they feel rare in a world where so much communication is surface level. When you show authentic interest in someone, it sits as if you're telling them you matter to put this into action, start by asking thoughtful, open-ended questions instead of the typical "how are you?" Try something like, "What's the most exciting thing that's happened to you this week?" or "What's something you're passionate about that most people don't know?" These kinds of questions invite the other person to share something meaningful, and they give you insight into who they are. The key is to listen fully and resist the urge to turn the conversation back to yourself too quickly. Another powerful way to show interest is by validating their feelings or achievements. If someone shares something they're proud of, acknowledge it with a sincere compliment. For example, if a friend tells you about a project they've been working on, respond with, "That sounds like a huge accomplishment. I admire how much effort you've put into it." Validation doesn't mean flat, it's about recognizing what matters to them and reflecting it with honesty. But being authentically interested isn't just about listening, it's also about sharing a piece of yourself in return. If someone opens up about a personal story, respond with something relatable from your own life. For example, if they're excited about starting a new hobby, share a time you felt the same way when trying something new. This balance of listening and sharing creates a two-way bridge of connection. It's how we move from being strangers to forming meaningful bonds. Authenticity in this sense is like a bridge. It's the structure that allows two people to cross the divide of unfamiliarity and meet in the middle without the conversations feel mechanical or forced, with the connections become effortless and memorable. A few years ago, I met someone at a workshop who seemed reserved and hesitant to engage. Instead of asking generic questions, I asked about the topic of the workshop and why they'd chosen to attend. A small shift opened a floodgate. They shared a personal story about how they'd been struggling with self-doubt and were there to learn how to overcome it. As they spoke, I validated their courage and shared my own experience with tackling self-doubt. By the end of that conversation, we weren't just participants at the same event, we were two people who had connected on a deeper level. This kind of authentic interest is something the Stoics understood well. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of understanding others, observing their nature, and treating them with kindness. Authenticity at its core is about aligning your actions with your values. When you approach someone with genuine curiosity, you're showing them your true self while inviting them to do the same. But let's be clear, authenticity doesn't mean oversharing or losing yourself in the process. It's not about impressing others or trying too hard to find common ground. Instead, it's about being fully present and open, allowing the connection to unfold naturally. If someone senses that your interest is forced or self-serving, it can have the opposite effect. That's why it's so important to stay grounded in your intentions. A historical example of authenticity's power comes from Abraham Lincoln. Known for his genuine curiosity and ability to connect with others, Lincoln often asked people about their lives, their struggles, and their perspectives. He once said, "I am a slow walker, but I never walk back," which reflected his belief in moving forward with understanding and sincerity. His authentic approach to relationships made him one of the most respected leaders of his time. Always remember that being authentically interested doesn't just make others feel good, it enriches your own life. The more you learn about people, the more you understand the diversity of human experience. You discover new perspectives, new stories, and new ways of seeing the world, and in turn you become someone people naturally gravitate toward, not because of what you say but because of how you make them feel. So the next time you're in a conversation, focus less on impressing and more on connecting. Ask questions that matter, listen without distraction, and share pieces of yourself with sincerity. Authenticity isn't just a trick for being likable, it's a way of life that builds trust, deepens relationships, and leaves a lasting impact on everyone you meet. The most important mindset, the mindset shift that changes everything. Shift when it comes to being likable. The real secret is not in strategies or techniques but in a fundamental shift in how you see yourself and others. At its core, being liked isn't about external performance, it's a reflection of your internal mindset. The more self-aware and self-accepting you are, the more naturally you'll connect with others. But the opposite is also true. When insecurities cloud your interactions, they can create walls where bridges should be built. One of the biggest hurdles to likability is the fear of rejection. You've likely felt it before, that internal dialogue asking, am I saying the right thing or do they like me? This focus on yourself often backfires when your energy centers on being liked. You risk coming across as needy or insincere. People sense when interactions are transactional and it makes them pull away. As counterintuitive as it sounds, the key to being liked is letting go of the need to be liked. This concept ties deeply into Stoic wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. You can't control how someone perceives you, but you can control how you present yourself. This shift in focus from worrying about their approval to simply being your best self frees you to engage more authentically. Likability isn't about pleasing everyone, it's about showing up as the truest version of you. To adopt this mindset, the first step is self-awareness. Pay attention to how your insecurities show up in conversations. Do you talk over others to prove your worth? Do you downplay your achievements to avoid judgment? Recognizing these patterns isn't about beating yourself up, it's about understanding how fear can silently steer your interactions. Next comes self-acceptance. The first step to being liked begins with embracing your imperfections. When you stop pretending to be flawless, you give others permission to do the same. Vulnerability, far from being a weakness, is one of the most likable traits you can possess. Admit when you don't know something, laugh at your mistakes, and share stories that reveal your humanity. People are drawn to those who are real, not perfect. A few years ago, I met someone at a networking event who had a profound impact on me. They weren't the most charismatic person in the room, nor did they have a polished elevator pitch, but their presence was magnetic. What stood out was their genuine interest in everyone they spoke to. When they asked questions, they truly listened. When they shared their thoughts, they spoke with humility and openness. At one point, they admitted they felt nervous at large events but saw them as opportunities to learn about others. That vulnerability combined with their attentiveness made them unforgettable. Reflecting on this experience, I realized that people liked them because of their mindset, not their charm or confidence. It was their mindset. They weren't trying to prove themselves, they were focused on connecting meaningfully. Their self-awareness and self-acceptance allowed them to engage without pretense, and it was incredibly refreshing. Stoicism offers profound guidance here. Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters. Applying this to likability, it's not about building the perfect impression, it's about how you respond to the people and situations around you. Are you defensive or open? Are you guarded or vulnerable? The way you react shapes the energy you bring into every interaction. So the next time you walk into a room, remember, being liked isn't about perfection or strategy, it's about being present, being real, and being kind. When you embrace this mindset of connection, you'll watch your relationships transform, not just with others but with yourself. At its heart, being liked isn't about mastering a checklist of social skills, it's about forging genuine connections. The three tricks we've explored: giving your undivided attention, subtly mirroring others without losing your authenticity, and showing sincere interest, are tools to help you connect with people on a deeper level. They're not about pretending to be someone you're not, they're about becoming more of who you truly are. Small changes can lead to big transformations. A kind word, the moment of genuine curiosity, or the courage to let down your guard can turn a fleeting interaction into something meaningful. Remember, you don't need to be perfect to be likable. What matters most is your willingness to be present and let others see your true self. Which of these habits resonate most with you, or do you have a secret to building instant connections? Let me know. I'd love to hear your story. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more insightful content, and remember to turn on the notification bell so you never miss another video like this one.